You sent me a kiss in the night, and it stopped to go dancing. It drank strong coffee sweet with sugar and heavy cream, the way we both like it. Your kiss got tempted by corner bar jazz and swung its hips to a beat, then was distracted by a beautiful woman in luscious shades of purple. Your kiss made it to me, satisfyingly tired, full of life and ripe with adventure. Your kiss had stories that needed told over wine. Your kiss had a laugh deep with knowing. In short, your kiss was much like you, and all the more welcome for it being so. I welcomed your kiss into my window, gave it the most cool and comfortable corner of the pillow, and watched it sleep. I lay beside it, and your kiss rested easy on my cheek and left my dreams sweet and splendid. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Culture in Maine, York's Cultural Showcase. We have some of the best coming to join you today. We have the beautiful and emotion-filled photography of Jessica Ballew. We have the music of Groove Jones, the funkiest of the funky in York. And we have TV host and personality and author Leigh Thomas, who's going to share her lessons on life, love, and wisdom with all of us. So please sit back, buckle your imaginary seatbelts, and enjoy another great episode of Culture in Maine. You know, we love to open with some slammin' music, and today we have Groove Jones here, the kings of First Friday. In fact, we have founding members, Joe McDowell and Rod Gels, vocalist fabuloso and guitarist magnificado. So, enjoy.
Hey, brother, why you wanna keep another down? 'Cause he was born of a skin with a different hue. Hey, brother, why you always feel your heart bound to say the word from those that have a different view? Crying sisters and mothers from us killing each other. Take a look and discover that the wheel brings it all back to you. Hey, brother, you know the honor of another's found. Not in the words they pray, but in the things they do. Can't you see we can be free of clothes, much bigger tree? But it all comes down to you and me. Hey, brother, why you feel your venom's justified? Why you gotta go and act like such a fool? Such a fool. Hey, brother, can't you see that nothing's rectified when you learn to hate with it has your fuel? All this fussing and fighting, talking back and backbiting, make this worse to start writing. Why can't we just follow that golden rule? Hey, brother, you gotta learn to be satisfied with a richer soul and not with cards and jewels. Can't you see we can be free of mental slavery? But it all comes down to you and me. like you see I'm really on your side. But gotta tell you, logic, it isn't sound. Hey, brother, wanna see you rise above the tide. Just wanna help you reach that higher ground. When the facts are respected, you see your life is connected. And when all men are respected, can't you see happiness will abound? Hey, brother, you know the changes gotta start inside. Until one day the whole world comes around. Can't you see we can be in a world of harmony? But it all comes down to you and me, yeah, and me. Got on a greyhound bound by the apple with a big dream and his old bass guitar. He headed to Times Square 'cause he knew chops like his would make him the next big superstar. But he met the wrong kind of folks, pulled a job, go next thing you knew, the boy started smoking rock. He'll never be number one if it's 3968562 locked down on C block. 'Cause now what you feel, not what is real, but the green is fine as the grass in your yard. And to do the right thing, you're gonna suffer the sting of unknown. Little luck has got a hand on your cause, and the path that you fear is unmistakably clear as you drink from the jar that does not satisfy. There's only one choice for you now before the soul of a man becomes a ghost town. She headed to La La Land from the Midwest. Her golden hair smelled like fresh cut daffodils. With dreams of the silver screen, stars were in her eyes. She made her way on down to Beverly Hills. But you know the fame don't come easy. The weight of the world sure can drive a girl straight to her knees. But she don't kneel before Jesus, just before Jack's and John's. Who promised her own that she'll never see. It's not what you feel, not what is real, but the green is as fine as the grass in your yard. And to do the right thing, you're gonna suffer the sting of unknown. Little luck has got a hand on your cards, and the path that you fear is unmistakably clear as you drink from the jar that does not satisfy. There's only one choice for you now before your beautiful soul becomes a ghost town. It's not what you feel, not what is real, but the greenness is fine as the grass in your yard. And to do the right thing, you're gonna suffer the sting of unknown. Little luck has got a hand on your cards, and the path that you fear is unmistakably clear as you drink from the jar that does not you funk in the Mississippi. Adam blamed it on the lady, and Eve, she blamed it on the snake. The snake, he blamed it on the apple, yeah. Sweeping that filth in the lines of tone, it's like a house of cards when they all falls down. Tell me the future of a lie. Dig real deep in the way it is, and your breath be sanctified. And don't you love through lucid eyes? Take a real hard look at the world today, and the forces on your side. The snakes all run the ground, bumping that itchy, itchy funk in the Mississippi. Snakes all run the ground, bumping that itchy, itchy funk in the Mississippi. Yeah. Snakes all run the ground, bumping that itchy, itchy funk. Hey.
How amazing was that? So now we're back here at the magical table of interview heaven with one of York's most sensational, biggest bands, Groove Jones.
Biggest.
Biggest as in you are a huge
round as a
explosion
shape.
of sound. Joe McDowell, Rod Gels, Groove Jones.
Thank you.
The abbreviation. We are Groove Jones Petite
Yes.
today, and your other members are
In other cities. At Philly, Lancaster,
so now
all over the place.
your regular gig is your perhaps most well-publicized gig is that you are the Kings of First Friday at Bistro 19.
Yep.
And you do a whole funk set. And my personally favorite thing about you guys is that you are the only people that beat Glee as Kings of the Mashup.
Okay.
I love that you can put any two songs together and absolutely make it work. But why funk? That's a genre. Didn't that go into the 70s, the world of the 70s?
Yeah. Well, funk is the music we loved. When we started the band, Joe and I are the only sole members, and when we started the band, this is
Soul members.
There you go.
back in the day. We were the brain trust.
Yes.
That's it. Okay, so
I like that.
But people have come and gone, but that's the music that we wanted to play. So I was in lots of other bands. I played, and I still play, lots of other music. But a lot of the time, like if I play a certain kind of music, it'll stick me in a certain kind of place that I don't necessarily want to be, or in a certain kind of mindset. So the stuff that was in my heart at that time and still is funk, and I can do anything with funk, because I can rock it up.
Right.
I can jazz it up.
You definitely do.
I can hip hop it up, or you can hip hop it up.
Well, before that we even started filming, talking about what the 90s were like for you, and you give me Belle Biv DeVoe is your soul of your 90s. You give me Depeche Mode.
No, it was Pearl Jam.
And Pearl Jam.
Yeah. I was a rock. I grew up as a rocker kid. The whole way. I graduated in the '80s, and I was a rocker kid. But I liked all sorts of stuff. I've always did. And the first stuff that I listened to as a kid was the Beatles, and they're probably my top 5. That's my top 5 band. That's my desert island band.
Okay, so you're stranded on a desert island, and you get to have 3 CDs. You can pick a whole CD. Compilations don't count because that's cheating. What 3 CDs do you take with you to your desert island?
Oh, let's see. Jellyfish, Spilt Milk. Oh. Okay.
Good choice.
Let's see. Probably a Meter's Greatest Hits kind of thing.
Okay, greatest hits are allowed.
Yeah, greatest. And let's see. Number three.
I know, now it's the pressure point.
I don't know.
It's just you and the beach ball with the face on it.
What's number 3, Joe? Come on, help me out.
What are you taking, Joe?
Me? I'm taking Stevie Wonder Talking Book. I'm taking the Tower Power Live album.
Which one?
Soul Vaccination Live.
Okay, because there's
And,
multiple Tower
and
Power
I'm
albums.
taking the Maceo Parker live album.
Yes, the Maceo Parker would be that's church.
Oh, that's
church.
That's what you play on Sundays on the desert island.
Yeah.
So how do you guys make it work?
Saturday at midnight. I don't get up Saturday morning. Sunday mornings.
My church starts Saturday night. Nice. So how do you guys make it work with having such diverse musical influences? And your whole band is that way. I mean, as different as the two of you guys are, when you add other musicians, you'll pull in soul singers and like rap hip hop sets. And how do you create a unified sound?
One night, and I don't know if you were there or not, one night at Bistro 19, Tommy played some sort of drum loop that was, he's our drummer.
Right.
And it was punk rock, and I went right for it, and it was like God Save the Queen. It's like, and it worked, and Joe didn't know what the heck was going on. And I go, now you know how I feel. Yes. Now you know, but it's all good because that's what makes it fun because it's never the same way twice. Exactly. There's some
I have noticed that from being at your shows, that even when you play a song
but
I've heard you do before, it's never the same. How much do you guys rehearse and structure, and how much do you just make up on the fly?
It's all on the fly.
On the fly.
Yes.
Our last rehearsal was a week before New Year's Eve. And our rehearsal before that was a week before New Year's Eve the prior year.
Yes.
What? But now, okay, you actually teach though. So how can you condone this lack of structure?
Actually, what it is these gigs are sort of our rehearsal. Okay, they're sort of, in our group, there's an element of jazz, with not a capital J jazz. We're not trying to be like Bill Evans or Miles or anything, but it's the idea of we're going to be spontaneous. It's going to be spontaneous, and whenever it is spontaneous, really cool stuff happens. So we're rewarded. We're rewarded, so the gig is sort of like the rehearsal.
I think that most of the time
It's a paid rehearsal.
Yeah. You have to look at live music as you're entertaining somebody. You're not playing a recording, you're not recording a disc. So anytime you're doing anything live, you're looking for some sort of reaction. So what reaction would you get in a rehearsal hall?
So what reaction are you looking for when you play for an audience?
I joked with your camera girl here and said when we played our set, I was looking for a toe tap, a hip shake, a head bob, anything. That's for me. I want to see somebody, because that means the music is in you and you're feeling whatever I'm feeling too.
Should be a party.
Yes.
Should be a party.
So now, a lot of the music that you guys do is covers or reinterpretations of other people's music. Yeah, because they are nothing like the original versions at all.
We're horrible at covering. I don't think we don't do it. Maybe we could. I don't know. It's not our thing. Covering other people, and it's there are people that do. I have friends that do it, and it's like they spend 4 months on learning one song. I'm like, no.
this is more an influenced by
Yeah.
type of thing. So
Yes.
you don't ever feel like you're not able to express yourself as
Yeah.
much because you're using someone else's original music.
Yeah, so we do originals too, but it's like, and we'll do more of it in the future. More of it in the future. but a lot of some of the first times I've heard songs that everybody else is going. We talk about our various influences, like the how many songs he's the first person I heard sing it.
Right?
Like
so it's
Bump
in
and
your
Grind.
mind.
Bump and
R.
Grind.
Kelly, Bump and Grind.
I never heard that.
Nothing wrong. That is amazing.
And then the Philly, Motown Philly.
Yeah,
That's
Voice
the
of Man.
first time I
I
ever.
totally heard you do that, and that was awesome. Completely
But
unexpected.
I never, that wasn't what, 1990, when is that, 93? I was 25 years old.
90, 91, 92, yeah.
And nobody ever gives you negative reactions for covering things outside your genres? I mean, how do people take it when they realize, like, 3 bars in, oh my gosh, I'm actually listening to Boyz II Men.
That's
I didn't
just
even
it.
know.
Well, they
That's
love that.
just it.
They love that, though.
That's exactly right, because you'll
I
go
s-
into something and you'll get that look like, that was unexpected.
Yeah.
And then it's like, whoa, okay.
I'm surprised how many people know that stuff. That's because I was not
every
growing.
word.
Yeah. That was I did not grow up with that. I did not with the Boyz II Men. I was not in a fan club, but I don't hate them. I like most music. A lot in every kind of music. There's good and there's bad. So it's but a lot of this is a learning curve for me. 'Cause
What
Pharrell-
makes bad music?
Well, that's okay. So there's the element of sellout.
Ooh.
There's an element. Is there an element of sellout? Like I think I love what hip hop is doing, and I love the idea of freestyling, and I love the idea that somebody's able to create poetry on the fly. I don't love the idea of somebody writing songs that to me seem to be like about their $200 sneakers. I think a lot of times the music industry exploits the lowest common denominator because it's easy. Like the lowest kind of denominator, that's easy to sell.
Right.
Like the really good stuff is not going to be the stuff that's necessarily going to be the mainstream. Okay, so but that's going to be harder to sell because it's like, and if you're a marketing person, you want to sell that soap that's already been tested.
Right.
And because you're not
Right, you're not trying to take a risk.
Your investment's going to be worth it. But I'm talking about music, not marketing. I just.
But there's a relationship, and we can't say that
In other
there's
words,
not. It's about you have to
ideally-
be sustainable. You can't keep playing all these gigs if you're not making enough
Absolutely.
to give you the time to play
Absolutely.
these gigs. So how do you guys find the balance between pleasing audiences, pleasing venues, but keeping the music fresh and expressive for you?
Well, that's just it with the mashups. You said about how we're good at mashups. Well, you don't know what song we're going to play next.
Yeah.
Half the time we don't know what song we're going to play.
It's not even half the time.
I started making set lists when we first started, and I have to say I've abandoned the set list idea. We have a general idea of where we're going to go with it or what we're going to do with it. And actually, we're to the point now where we will ask for crowd participation. What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear?
And if there's any chance on us producing it in
we'll
any
do
sort
it.
of way, we're not going to do the whole thing necessarily. But we played. Joe and I did a Victor show. Joe and I did a Victor show, and somebody was shouting Aerosmiths. We did Dream On, and it's like it wasn't precise.
And it's not easy to sing that high.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
gonna say-
No.
Yes.
No?
It wasn't precise, but what it lacked for in precision, it made up for in enthusiasm.
Nice.
So
So now where can people find you besides First Friday at Bistro 19?
First Friday, they can find us at the Cove. They can find us at Maywinds. At the end of the month, we're at Maywinds. They can find us at the Waterway. They can find us at various
Pretty much
points.
anywhere you
at
can
various
find
points,
Groove Jones.
At various
Holy Hound
points,
Tap Room.
Holy Hound Tap Room. That's a favorite place of ours. It's,
Okay.
we're not booked there currently, but it's
Hint, hint, hint.
yes. But we love the place.
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah, and they actually sought us out.
Yeah.
That wasn't one of those, hey, can we play at your place? That was like, hey, can you play at our place?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I love
So
love
what
that
is
atmosphere.
what is your favorite thing about the music scene here in York?
Now it's diverse. because there was like people that there's a lot of new. I say I'm an old man. I'm an old guy. So I remember like back in the day, that's like what you had to do is you had to be in a cover band and you had to play AC/DC, and I love all that stuff.
Right.
But my lot in life is that's not where my heart is. The AC/DC or be a Neil Young or it's like that's what you had to do.
Right.
It's like 15 years ago, I'm not sure that we would have been able to get a gig here. I'm not sure.
Well, thank God things have changed.
Yeah. So it's like, seriously, because it's and then the whole music scene, the whole how it's sort of bending over to like more original, and even the covers that people are doing.
There's a lot of creativity and experimentation and trying new things.
It's not another band doing the same old.
Right, a guy with guitar singing a John Mayer cover, not really exciting.
Exactly.
Although we've done that.
Yes. Well, they're again not covered.
Not covered.
Right. Inspired by, not covered.
Yes.
I'm going to remember that.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Groove Jones.
Thank you.
For coming on the show, and I cannot wait till next First Friday to be rocking out with you guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
That's why I do this.
Yes.
Swagging with the musicians.
You know, it's real music, it's live music, it's original stuff, and there's still people out there that want to hear that stuff. And kind of a sound out of that thing and experiment to see what kind of sounds I can get out of that. What you're hearing that is highly produced in the studio, it's almost primitive, but it still speaks to that same part of people that, it's real music, it's live music. Hammer and nail, building those bridges on those lonely old trails. My main thing is singing, but I learned to sing at the piano bench from the book. And you close the book, I can't remember the words, so I don't have to remember the words with the harmonica. This next piece is a true account. But yet I can still be expressive in ways that I can't even go there with my voice, even though with my voice, it's a different voice, it's a different range, but sometimes I like to take it all the way as far as you can get it, and the harmonica seems to be that instrument for me.
In the illustrious and turbulent history of jazz, there are many superlative iconic heroes with more than its fair share of tragic ones as well. Tonight, in my jazz set, I like to cover the likes of Billie Holiday, Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, Miles Davis, Tal Farley, Jaco Pastorius, and a brief interlude by the great tenor saxophonist Lester Young.
Because I love to play, I want to create a void in this whole thing that I can only fill, and a lot of guys are, they're very open to me sitting in with them, and even though I don't know what they're playing, I just tell them, give me whatever key you need me to play in, and I'll try to fill in that. And I'm in a league with millions of other harmonica players that have been around forever, and I read recently that Abraham Lincoln had one in his pocket the whole time the Civil War raged on. There are happy songs that you can make happier, and there are sad songs that you can make sadder, and the blues, you can explore so many different depths of the blues with the harmonica. After 40 years of playing it, it has grown into me in a way that I can't imagine not being able to play that because of the things I'm able to express.
Hammer and nail, hammer and nail, building these bridges on this lonely old trail, building America by road and by rail, building America. Hammer and nail. Came to this country with dreams and a plan to give to our children this beautiful land. We worked and we fought to see it come true. This land that we love, this red, white, and blue.
Now, you know, we just love a good story here on Culture in Maine. And one of the coolest stories that we've come across so far is when I had Jessica recommended to me by a completely different musician and said, this is a great photographer, you need to check her out. She just has a beautiful eye, she does incredible portraits and city scenes. I booked her and had no idea that she was the sweetie of Rod Gels, my previous guest who was just on the show and you just heard. So can we talk about great minds thinking alike and culture coming together? However, she is way more than just the paramour of one of York's best musicians. She is also a truly incredible artist in her own right. I'm obsessed with your photography. So why did you pick Edge of the Moment?
Mainly it was because the pictures I take are not Olin Mills. They're not your perfect pictures. I like to find the feeling, the emotion behind the scene or the people. I don't like when people pose. I like more to have. I catch that side moment that you see with your eye, but you don't think to take a picture of. Usually I end up getting that picture.
You're the one that actually gets that picture.
Yeah.
I love, we have the picture that we have of Rod that you actually took with the world's craziest knit hat on ever. And that was just a spontaneous, not posed.
Yeah, that was New Year's Eve 2 years ago when he was playing. Yeah, I got that. That was the first time I had taken pictures for Groove Jones.
So is the portraits and working with the live subjects, your favorite thing to work on?
Yeah, it is. It's to find, I like to take pictures of pretty much anything, actually, but the people and finding the emotion of the joy of whatever the circumstance may be, the kids playing at the park or the band playing at the local bar or however it may be. That's what I enjoy, is finding the emotion and being able to create it and show it.
So when you're shooting in the city and you're finding just pictures of great buildings or great shapes, they don't have the same emotion as people do. So what makes something like that, what makes a still scene leap out to you and say, this is the great photograph?
Well, to me, actually, I find they do have emotion. They do. When
The building speaks to me.
Well, they do. Each building has its own architecture beauty that to bring out. Even the old ones that are falling down, you can see the beauty that once was and the beauty that's there. And to capture that and to show it, when I go through my photos, I go through each one individually and I take time on it to find and pull out that feeling that I got from it, and that's where we end up.
So how did you get started doing this?
I just found that I was able to see and capture the moment that is so fleeting. And I found that I was able to do that. So I started doing it more and more and actually trying to hone it a little bit, and I got a lot better at it. I've always been sort of an artist. I've painted, drawing.
Wow. So you have the artist's eye.
Yeah. It was, to me, though, it was more of like an instant gratification to pull it from a photo, because that's what I'm seeing at that moment. I take that picture and I'm able to show it right away.
And now it's captured forever.
Yeah.
That moment becomes something that you can have forever and hold on to.
Yep.
So now with Edge of the Moment photography, where do you see that going? What are you trying to do with that?
I just want to show my art, I want nice. People to enjoy it, and if they want me to capture their moments, I will do the same. That's where I'm at. I just enjoy, it's my passion. So.
Wow. Ooh, that gave me a moment. I love that. I truly do. Well, now Edge of the Moment photography can be found on Facebook.
Yes.
Just got to search in Edge of the Moment photography and they can come and track you down and check out the beautiful photographs.
Yeah, there are thousands. And there are thousands that are not on there.
So, admit it, is the kids the favorite thing to take pictures of?
It's hard to say because I really do enjoy everything about it. I can see it anywhere. So the kids are great because I love taking pictures of my children, and any children actually, I love to see joy. And that's a part of it. I like to see the bands. I like to see the emotion that they're trying to pull out with each song, be it aggression or whatever it may be at that moment. And then there's also the buildings. I just like to pull the beauty out and share it.
Wow. You're like the world's most inspirational photographer. You make me want to get my Android phone out and just go nuts. Which I actually had a photo shoot with a very professional photographer with a fancy camera, and the fancy camera failed. And so then he whipped out his iPhone and did the whole photo shoot on that, and it was amazing because he had the eye. I confess I do not have the eye. You have the eye. You just are born with the eye?
My mom is an artist, and she's done everything all over the spectrum, so I grew up around it. Anything from drawing to sculpture to jewelry to paintings so it's always been there.
And that's just how you see the world.
It's just how I see the world.
Well, thank you for sharing how you see the world with us and your incredible photography, which now the whole world can see how you see it. And it's a way more beautiful world when looking at it through your eyes than looking at it through a regular set. So thank you for sharing your art with us, Jessica.
Thank you for having me.
My next guest is actually the host of my favorite show on TV, besides mine, of course, Leigh Thomas, who hosts another show on Right Rose Community Television, An Ordinary Journey with Leigh Thomas, which is hilarious and airs on Channel 16 every Thursday at 7 p.m. So make sure you check it out. It's live, so you can even call in. In fact, let's check out the opening right now.
Thank you all for joining me on An Ordinary Journey with Leigh Thomas. Yep, that's me out there on the road again. On the road again. I'm out here looking for some great guests and topics for us to explore. And boy, do we have things to talk about.
And we're back with hostess with the mostest extraordinaire, Leigh Thomas.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you're so professional. You're like the TV host I want to be when I grow up.
Oh, you do a great job.
I'm
Trust
not
me.
there.
But I thank you for the kind words. The opening of the show, the car that drives,
Yes.
and then, and you heard me say, don't start,
Right.
save a seat or whatever. And so when I first started doing the show, people told me that they only watched the show to watch the clothes because they wanted to see the car go back up the hill.
Hey, where's it going? Where's it going?
So, made me feel good that at least I knew people were, watching the show because they just wanted to watch the car. I thought that was the funniest thing.
I mean, if people tune in, they tune in.
Right.
So now, what would you say was your inspiration for what you wanted to convey with the show? What made you decide to become a TV producer as well as a hostess?
I have always been in show business. I mean, I started at 5, and I used to sing in New York.
5?
At 5, yes. First time I was on stage, I was 5. And I sang in New York City, and I've done some movies and some documentaries. Mm-hmm. So if you watch my show, I talk about the F word all the time. And the F word happens to be my ex-husband, whose first name begins with F and it's 4 letters, So I talk about the F word, and I talk about him because of the situation of our marriage and the things that I went through in my life. So I finally decided for therapy, I'd write a book. So I wrote a little book called An Ordinary Journey.
Yes, which we have the book cover.
Right.
We have the copy.
It's called An Ordinary Journey, The User's Guide to Healing from the Abuses of Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll, and Attempted Murder. And so people take a look at the book.
That title makes me want to read it. I want to hear that adventure.
I love it, though. One of the first book signings I had down at the market, the books were all out, and these little ladies would come by, and they'd look at the book, and they'd look at me, and they'd look at the book, and they'd look at me. And somebody looked at me one day, and they said, you don't look so bad for all the drugs you took. It was like, I didn't take them. I needed them, but I didn't take them. So I wrote the book.
Best compliment ever.
I know.
You look great for all those drugs.
They worked wonders.
Nice.
So I wrote the book. The book came out. There was a rally downtown. I spoke at the rally, and the mayor at that time was there and asked me to bring my voice to television, and that's how I got on the air here.
And aside from all the fun stuff you do with different clips and different guests that come on, and you have some very exciting and eccentric guests that are some of your frequent flyers that come on. You also do a lot of advocacy and work a lot of things. You do a lot of work for survivors.
Right.
And we have a picture of you and your babies.
Oh, really?
Your puppies.
Okay. And that is the back cover of the book. And in the book I say that I think you can get through anything with faith, hope, a great sense of humor, because in every situation, whether it's a happy or sad situation, there's humor. At some point, you'll find something funny in it. And for me, my 4-footed furry babies, And so the back of the book, and I love my hats. So the picture on the back of the book is me in a hat with a couple of my babies. And I start the show every week showing pictures of 4-footed furry babies that are up for adoption, because I work with East York Veterinary Center, which is a satellite for the SPCA, and HeavenlyPawShelter.org.
Yes, a great no-kill shelter that just does wonderful work.
And over there is just, incredible. So every week they send me pictures of babies that are found, and so we try to get them back home. Or you can't start the show without the 4-footed furry babies, For me, it just wouldn't be a show, So we try to help them as much as possible. And then the rest of the show is pretty much, when I first started the show, I wanted it to be advocacy for survivors, for people who've been abused, and any abuse, And then I discovered I didn't want to be in the abuse, because if I talked to them about their abuse, we just stay there. So I decided I wanted to go a little outside the box and do more self-esteem, little, give them some messages of self-esteem and do it with, a little bit of sugar, helps the medicine go down.
Right.
So I do it with humor. I do it with music. I do it with movie clips. I do it with TV. So that I can give them the message of what the show is for that night without them even realizing they get the message. Nice. And if they take a couple of giggles away, I'm even happier. You gotta giggle,
So is that what you would say you wanted viewers to get from watching the show?
I want them to get a place where they can come and feel like they're safe. They're going to get a message whether they want it or not, I'm going to make them think about some things, but I'm going to do it with a sense of humor. So when, at the end of the day, they're going to feel like they've actually been entertained and not been preached to.
I love it. In fact, we actually have a show clip right now to share.
Okay. Can't wait to see it. So thank you for joining me on ESI. Hello, Lady O.
Hello, Leigh.
How are you? Here we are on ESI, and you know what? We have so much to talk about. I have to tell you, there are so many hot topics out there.
Yes.
And I guess I need to say that I know we look a little naked up here, don't we? Because we're missing one. Nita's on location, so she'll be back. Okay, I hope the next show she'll be back. But for right now, it's just Lady O and myself. I hope you enjoy this. So, hot topics, they're everywhere. These issues are everywhere. I was talking to somebody not too long ago about the movie Bridesmaids. And if you want issues, if you want women's issues, just watch that movie. Because they bring enough sisters together,
Exactly.
And they come from every walk of life. So everybody has issues. So we ask people to call us tonight or send in something by email, and they've got issues they want us to discuss. So why don't you take the first one?
Okay, first question out there for you ladies and sisters. What would you do if you saw your best friend's husband with another woman?
There you go. There you go. There you go. Now, what would you do? I'm going to ask you.
I'll kick his butt.
My sister, when she got married, she told her husband, she said, and it was, I don't know why she said this, it was her third marriage. I know she's going to kill me for saying that, right? It was her third marriage. But, and we all called her Liz, for Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh, okay.
But she told her third husband, who was 8 years younger than she was, that if she found him out, what is her name, Marina Bobbitt?
Bobbitt,
right? Right. Yeah, that she would make her look silly because she was going to take care of him, And it's like,
handle her business.
Exactly, handle his business for him.
Right.
So a lot of people say that they would give the man, they would let him know that they know and give him the right to go to his wife.
Okay.
He's cheating already.
But exactly.
Why is he going to go tell her what he did?
Exactly.
And even if he did go tell her what he did, he would make you look wrong. For threatening to tell him.
Right.
That if you were a good friend, you would have told her.
I sure would have.
Well, exactly.
I would have. Immediately.
Absolutely, because we've all been in relationships where we've been with dogs. You know what I mean? We've been with dogs, and they've cheated on us, or they didn't call, or they don't take you to a place. They come over and they sit on your couch and watch your TV and eat your food. Right. And expect that to be a date. So we've all been there. We're not taking it anymore. We've gotten to the point in our life, right?
It is what it is, and we're going to handle our business.
Well, that clip was actually, I do a lot of things.
I mean, if you've been performing since you were 5, you've got a base to pull from.
I do a lot of things. If you go to my website, leigh-thomas.com, you'll see some of the things I've done. And one of the things, I was asked to be co-host of a national TV show called ESI. Every sister's issues, and we all have them.
Indeed.
Absolutely. So that clip is a little clip from the show so that people can get a little flavor of what I'm like without being on an ordinary journey.
Right. There is just too much of a So why leave New York and this glamorous performing world and come to regular York and bless the stage here?
You want the Reader's Digest version of that?
I guess so.
Okay. I got married to the F word, and we moved to Baltimore. And if you read the book, you'll understand that I had to have my own witness protection program. And York became my own witness protection program when I moved here. I needed a place, my safe haven. And I wanted a quiet place where I could go downtown, kind of like New York. You know, you can go out and have a glass of wine and a dinner and take a taxi and come home. You can't do that here, so I wanted to live someplace where I could walk to town, have a glass of wine, and come home and feel safe.
The glass of wine being that common denominator that makes all things better. I subscribe to that theory myself.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter if it bubbles or not. Actually, I prefer it if it does, but you know, it kind of makes it a party.
Indeed.
Yes,
indeed.
So York became my witness protection program, safe haven, and I wanted it to be a place that was quiet. And if I had known how quiet York was, I may not have moved here, but I love York. You know, it's a great base. There is so much here. There's so much culture, which is why this show is awesome, because you get to present to the people of the community who may never know that it's out there, you know? And so I applaud you for that, because it's a fabulous show. Take a bow. Take a bow.
Thank you so much.
So I've just had, I was thinking about it yesterday. When I was 30 and I was getting ready to have my birthday, I actually said this to myself: if I died today, I have done more in my lifetime than most people will do in their whole lifetime, you know, so I would die a happy woman.
That is like the best statement ever.
Yes, because I have this thing. I don't want to die and be laying there and say, you know, I should have.
I wish I
should have. Right. I don't want to do that. So I have this, I tell people on the show, and when I do radio interviews, you know, across the country, I tell them this too, that in life, you have to be prepared to grab that chance whenever you can. And I always say to the universe, I'll walk through any door, any window, any crack, you know.
Give me a crack to crawl
you know,
through,
if you open it
and I'm going.
and it's creative, I'm going to give it a shot. You just have to be prepared to be hitting the tush every once in a while with the screen door, but that's okay. That's part of the journey.
It happens.
Right. You know, as people, my sister always says to me, it's never boring in Leland.
I love it.
And I think that's the way you should live. You know, that's how your life should be.
Lee's Lessons on Life.
There you go.
Which I absolutely plan to take home with me.
Thank you. You know, it's so funny because I think we have a picture of some of the things that I do.
Yes, we have some of your modeling
I was
shots.
Say, believe it or not,
we have
a woman at my age, and I actually did a bathing suit job about 6 or 7 months ago, and it's like, are they serious? Do they, you know? And yes, they did. So
and you look good, girl.
Thank you. You know, so it's never too late. You can do anything you want. You know, just don't give up on your dreams. I hate it when people give up on their dreams. So, you know, it's an ordinary journey because we're all traveling together.
But we can all have extraordinary moments on that journey.
Absolutely.
If we're willing to take them.
Like this one, like being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I've had ball.
For coming, Leigh.
Thank you, Carla.
And we'll actually use Lee's closing to transition us
What's
out.
that car going back up the hill?
Exactly. Thanks for joining us for another awesome episode of Culture in Maine. Make sure to find us on Facebook at Culture in Maine. Click like and get great photos, updates, and information about upcoming guests. Follow us on Twitter at, you guessed it, Culture in Maine, or log on to wrct.tv, where you can find show listings to find out when your favorite episodes will be on, or you can go to our show page. Just go to Channel 18, click on Show Profiles, click on Culture in Maine, and you can find everything Culture in Maine, including upcoming guests, past shows, links to all our YouTube videos. We are all culture all the time. So thank you for being a part of it. Make sure to email us if you have suggestions, artists you want to see, or if you want to come on the show yourself, cultureinmaine@gmail.com, and have a blessed and love-filled week. Thank you.